The following ad read is not sped up, but I'm taking this steroid for an allergic reaction I got, and it's really making me talk fast. I kind of feel like I can do anything, like anything. I might try and lift a car. I can definitely lift a car. At least one of those small cars, maybe not a truck, but those cars that fit in the spaces that say compact car only on the ground. Come to think of it, this is the same feeling I get when I eat sugary cereals with all the junk in it. Oh yeah, this is fun. Man, I'm gonna crash. Cereal can taste good and be healthy and not make you a jitterbug like me. Jitterbug, that's a funny word. How about some Magic Spoon? Check the stats on this cereal. 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs, and 140 calories a serving. Only 140 calories. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. And you can build your own box. Available flavors to build your very own custom bundle are cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, cinnamon, cookies and cream, and maple waffle. Cookies and cream and maple waffle were first introduced for a limited time, but now they're back permanently because they sold out extremely quickly. So fast, you don't want to talk as fast as this. Go get yourself some cookies and cream and maple waffle today. Magic Spoon is healthy and delicious, perfect for a guiltless midnight snack. Go to magicspoon.com/nodunks to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code NODUNKS at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/nodunks and use the code NODUNKS to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode.
Just before 2 p.m., an elderly woman drove into the side of the restaurant while trying to park her car.
I don't know. Part of me wishes I'd been hit by that car instead. So I could have gotten out of work early and gone far, far away from shift manager Masha's judging emerald eyes. No, I didn't wash my shirt in between shifts, Masha. So what if I smell like roast beef? This whole place smells like roast beef.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Thursday, December 9th. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, we're twins today. It's Tass Mellis.
It's cold in the ATL. Good morning, Machas.
We also got our top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Hey,
We got the international man of mystery taking it to the max, Leigh Ellis.
Friends.
And last but not least, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. Shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. Take a second. Subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube. Like the video. Comment away. And share the show. Action-packed episode of No Dunks. We're going to try and touch on every single game from last night. 13 games in total. We'll do our best to get to them all. But first, guys, oh my, we missed a wedgie. Yes, Sunday night, there was a wedgie in the Pelicans-Rockets game. It was Willie Hernangomez with the tip rebound wedgie. And thank God for wedgietracker.com, because that's where I saw this morning. I was like, whoa, oh my God, we blew it. So up to 12 on the season. We need every single one, Leigh, because, you know, we're not on a great pace right now, but wow. I mean, this shit keeps me up at night, man.
Yeah.
These lost wedgies that are out there that nobody let us know about or we missed.
Yeah, you know, I wonder if we should even count it. I think sometimes we should be punished for just missing it.
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
I think here's what we need. Forget your intern, Leigh. We need a wedgie-only intern. Scour the box score for every game, every morning. See where there's a jump call. That gets a majority of them. There are other instances where it doesn't hit the play-by-play like that. That's the problem. But man, I also just don't remember seeing a tweet or an Instagram comment. Our fans out there are pretty good at letting us know when this stuff happens. But Tass did. I guess you didn't see anything either. There was no alert.
Yeah, not to belittle the Rockets and Pelicans, but this is exactly the type of game where a wedgie could get buried. And Wedgie Hernangomez with the tip there. Where's Juancho? Where's Juancho to tell us that his brother is having a wedgie. Unfortunately, that's one that's, yeah, it happens. How many are out there? Who knows?
Who knows? But anyway, we're at 12, at least ones we've seen this season. And just a friendly reminder, if you see a wedgie, tweet at your guys at No Dunks Inc. That's INC, or you can hit us up on Instagram in the comment section there. Okay. So one thing about all 13 games. Here we go. Leigh, get us started. Heat 113, Bucks 104. That's all I'm doing here this morning. I'm just giving you the score. Give me something from the game.
Well, it's a bit of a weird one, really. Bucks leading at halftime against the undermanned Heat there. No Jimmy Butler, of course, or no Jimmy Butler out again, and no Bam still. So you would have think the Bucks go into this one as the favorite, but Miami turned it on in the second half, and it was all the new Heat there, really. Kyle Lowry, Caleb Martin, Maxi Strus combined for 14 for 28 from three. Giannis pretty uncharacteristically off in this game. PJ Tucker did a great job. PJ Tucker almost made himself into a triple-double in this game last night. Played really well, and the Heat came back and win this game. So bit of an upset, I would have said, for this one, because the Bucks, this is where they went down there, of course, and embarrassed the Heat last year. In fact, they set the single-game record with 29 threes in Miami. So last night got a little bit of a taste of their own medicine there with the Heat raining threes. So upset to start the night off with down in South Beach.
Yeah, why were you giggling over there, Taz?
You called it an upset. I agree. I was just, I just agree.
Okay. Games, man. You got to get through them. Let's go.
That's true. We got to have some pace to this. But what do you got, TK, to add to that?
First loss for the Bucks, right? With Giannis, Drew Holiday, and Chris Middleton in the lineup. We know Giannis turned 27 this week. I think it's fair to ask, is he washed up past his prime at this point? But no, this was an upset. Max Strus, what a game. 16, 4 threes. Kyle Lowry took 21 shots.
Yeah.
That's pretty weird to see, but they needed it with no Jimmy and no Bam. But we got to keep it moving. Let's go.
Well, here, I want to add something. Speaking of guys past their prime, the Heat have tried to play guys like Trevor Ariza at the small forward spot last year, way past his prime, to sort of fill in for Jay Crowder, who was their small forward championship guy, the guy who went to the finals. Can't you see a young Caleb Martin who filled in this one with a nice game, as Leigh mentioned, filling in for that role? I know they're going to start PJ Tucker in that role most likely, but Caleb Martin, we haven't said it in a while, this guy just bleeds Heat culture. I think he was perfect in this one, the way he stole that ball at the end there to seal it. I know you're starting Lowry, Robinson, Butler, Tucker, and Adebayo, but this is the kind of game that pays off in the playoffs for the Miami Heat, right? The Heat could throw out one of their young guys who played minutes in this game, like Max Strus or KZ Okpala, who's in there. He was getting abused by Drew Holiday. KZ Okpala is a power forward. He's getting abused by Drew Holiday. But him and Caleb Martin, this is like a Spurs championship win, right? Like Max Strus, go out there and beat Gary Neal, Marco Bellinelli for a few possessions in a postseason game. Or Caleb Martin, go beat Trevor Ariza. He got to the finals, with the LA Lakers and won a championship. Max Strus, these guys are all just playing their parts, and this could pay off for a Bucks team. A Heat team that could go pretty far in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, and if we see the Bucks Heat meet in the playoffs again, Leigh, the Heat have Tucker now, and Tucker, if you saw him last night, is telling his guys, I don't need help on Giannis. I'll take him. Now, okay, one game he did. Can he do that over a series? Could he do it again if they meet again? We'll see. He's a great defender, though, and he's confident that he can at least contain the Greek Freak. And you wonder, looking way ahead, could that be a weird difference maker in a potential series? Obviously, Tucker was on the Bucks last year winning a championship, and now he's in Miami as maybe a potential stopper. And Bam can play Giannis pretty well as well.
Yeah, when they can body him, it certainly helps. But when Giannis is in full sort of transition mode, it just makes it a lot harder. And that's what he did against the Suns in the finals. Remember, a couple of times he was like, I'm not letting these guys body me, because that's when it does even things up a little bit. True. But PJ was fired up last night. He wanted to prove a point, and he did.
Mm-hmm. All right, our next game, Sixers 110, Hornets 106. Tass, take it away.
Rematch of Monday's game. Same team. Same city. This is the old baseball series, and the Sixers swept. That's not easy to do, but it feels like Joel Embiid is getting back to last year's form, where he was the MVP runner-up. He had 19 free throws in this game. That is peak Joel Embiid. He's been back for 6 games since missing a bunch after entering the health and safety protocols 5 of those 6 games in double-digit free throws. That is Joel Embiid. He only did it twice in his first 9 games before he was sidelined with the H&S protocols. So the Sixers 4-2 in those games since he's come back, losing those 2 games by a combined 2 points. That gets me excited for Embiid versus Rudy Gobert tonight. If Embiid's playing at the peak of his powers, we'll get to the Jazz Wolves. I believe Trey's taking us through that one. I'm sure he's going to take us through Rudy Gobert being criticized for not guarding the center on the opposing team, Karl Anthony Towns. Relax, everybody. But he will have to guard Joel Embiid. So I'm looking forward to 76ers Jazz this evening.
Yeah, Embiid just he's turned into Beast Embiid here lately. I don't know how much you caught of this game last night, but it was like Monday night where he's just bullying the much smaller Hornets.
Yeah, I mean the Hornets hung in this game as well. They were a chance there, but when you see Embiid physically able to move around like that and just show his total dominance, it's very, very different for the whole Sixers because he's such a bully. And now we talked as well about they're undersized anyway. Charlotte, and he just feasted on them last night, made them foul him, got to the free throw line. So a really dominant, impressive performance by the guy who should dominate a game like that.
I think I saw some people on, Sixers Twitter saying, asshole Embiid is back, Trey. With like the playing to the crowd, are you not entertained? And obviously just dominating over this last little stretch. And it's sort of true. I mean, that was missing for the first chunk of this season, and then of course he was out in the lineup for a while. It's nice to see that part back.
He's having to figure out exactly how he wants to play this year. He was taking too many jumpers before he went out with COVID. If you look at his shot chart from last night, there are 5 shots inside the basket. How's that possible? It's because the Hornets are really small and Embiid is a beast. He's making it a point to get closer to the hoop, and it's paying off because he's one of the biggest, strongest, fastest guys out there. You should be dunking more than shooting 16-footers.
Our next game, Pacers 122. Knicks 102. I'll take this one. First things first. Bing bong is now ding dong. Is that right, Leigh? Because, man, the Knicks, what is going on here? Not a pretty record suddenly. Nice dunk from Obi Toppin on the fast break through the legs in the game early. And it was like a 7-point game showing off. But really impressive victory here from the Pacers, especially making a bunch of news over the last couple of days with all of their guys possibly on the trade block and them looking into rebuilding. Here's what I wanted to add from this game, though, because I saw that Seth Partnow, Sam Vecini, and Danny LaRue, they had a great Athletic article yesterday discussing trade scenarios for Sabonis and Turner and Karis LeVert. But within that article, there was this part that I want to read to you guys from, I believe Sam Vecini had this part. Quote, "There's a pretty real case for the Pacers exploring the market for Chris Duarte if they really, truly are entering a rebuild, right? He'd be one of the most sought-after assets in the league among a contender class that has bracingly little flexibility by way of trade because of salary cap constrictions. Duarte can help a contender now more than a rebuilding team, and his salary is extremely cheap. Because he's already 24, there's a case he'll never be more valuable than he is now. If the team decides to totally rebuild, as opposed to just retool on the fly, I think there's a real case for moving him. I legitimately think a team could give up multiple first rounders worth of value for Duarte." End quote. Don't do this, Indiana. I understand what Sam Vecini is saying, that, yeah, you probably could get a first round pick or two maybe back for this guy. Don't do it, though. This is the last thing you should be doing. Yes, he's 24. Okay, he's an old rookie. Ha, ha, ha. But 23 points last night, 9 of 11 shooting. Hit some threes, showed off his playmaking too there. He had a sort of a team high 6 assists, tying at least 6 assists. This is a guy you keep, Leigh. This is a guy you do not look to move, even if he is maybe one of the more valuable ones because of his contract and what he could bring to a contender. But he is the real deal, I think, for like a guy that will play another decade and be this and a better version of it.
Yeah, but if he can hit those threes, you can see there would be some interest there for him. I'm not sure he gets multiple first-round picks, but I can see a team saying, like, again, a mature age rookie who's like, that's what we do want on our roster here because he can help out. But if you're the Pacers, obviously the other 3 guys, I think, are the first ones you're looking to move if you are going for this complete rebuild. And they all showed out last night. So it was actually a really good performance in that respect. They played really well. They all had a great game. And they got a convincing victory. So it was a good display there from the Pacers. I sort of talked yesterday. I wonder if they maybe rest a guy here or two with one of those mystery injuries. But instead, maybe the instruction is like, no, actually go out there and audition. We want guys to play well. And they got a very good win against the Knicks. And the Knicks, after a good win the night before on the road, didn't do my scientific theory that they play better on the road any good last night. They were pretty ordinary, really. I mean, getting blown out there by the Pacers.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, sorry, Tass, to hear Pacers coach Rick Carlisle address the whole attendance thing. He said after the game, we need to win our fans over and get more people back in the building. That's important to us. You don't really hear that from a head coach all that often, I would say. But we've been talking about that with Indiana. There's no spark to them. You know, they're this like 500 club. They're maybe getting into the play-in, maybe getting into the playoffs, probably lose. They've got good players, not great players, hence a rebuild. And here he is sort of addressing that. Like, you know, we need to play obviously like we did last night and have a little energy.
It is interesting. And the articles on The Athletic are also saying that the Pacers are really transparent with their players. They won't just come out and tell them, hey, you just got traded. They're actually informing them that you're kind of in talks, which is also interesting, according to the front office, and Kevin Pritchard is leading that. Yeah, Rick Carlisle looking up into the swaths of empty seats and saying, I thought this was basketball country that I came to. Listen, this was Pacers Knicks. This is exactly what they needed, but I was not tuning into this basketball game because there isn't a buzz. There isn't hope. I was watching Wizards Pistons over this game. The Pistons are the worst team in the National Basketball Association. But what do they got? They got hope. You can sell that. They have rebuilt. They've changed the way their roster is made up, and they've made themselves the worst team in the NBA on purpose because they want to go in a different direction. I love a bunch of the Pacers, but there really isn't that pop, that spark. It's lacking in Indiana. And I think that the point about the Chris Duarte, hey, maybe a couple first-round picks, it sounds like a lot for a guy who's just traded was just drafted. And he looks very good. But I think you have all these guys apparently, up for sale, and you hope that someone overpays for one of them because it is beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So if somebody wants to overpay a couple first-round picks for Duarte or a couple first-round picks for Myles Turner, they're not going to trade all of these guys. But if there's somebody that teams are bidding, against each other for, then at least one of these guys will be overpaid for. Hopefully, right. If you're the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, and the Pacers are in no rush either. Yeah.
I think if you can get 2 picks for Duarte, trade him in a second. What do you think Chris Duarte is shooting from 3 on the season?
Well, you ask it, so it's probably a lot lower than I would assume.
Yeah,
34%?
35%. I mean, league average. To me, he's going to be Landry Shamet. Like, he's going to be able to play in the league forever. He's going to be a great shooter. That's fine. But, I mean, like you're saying, Skeets, and like Danny LaRue, Seth Partnow, we're all saying, he's not a piece for a rebuilding team. He's a piece for a contending team.
Right.
The Pacers are going to be a rebuilding team. 2 first-round picks for a guy that kind of dropped to you. That's how you actually rebuild.
Yeah, I mean, these picks are going to be protected. Like, these aren't like unprotected,
Yeah, but you can find a Duarte. You can find a Landry Shamet late in the first round.
I think he's better than you're maybe making him out to be here through whatever 20 games or so, 25 games in the league. I think he's really good. I think he's better than a Shamet. I'll say that.
But I mean, remember the hype of Landry Shamet his rookie year? Landry Shamet shot 42% from 3 his rookie year, and people were talking about him as a piece for the Sixers when he went.
Big 3 in the playoffs. Big 3 in the playoffs.
When he went to the Clippers, it was a big deal. When he went
Duarte's a way better defensive player. I think he's a way better playmaker than Shamet. I mean, yeah, okay, he's not hitting 40% from 3 yet, but I think he could get to that level. I think he's got great release.
Okay.
I just don't think I'd move him. Is like. Unless they're unprotected.
If you can bring back good picks and if you can bring back a good player and the team that you're dealing with says, we got to have Duarte, that is not a deal breaker to me.
Okay, fair enough. I think the Pacers, they got one that they got right here with a late pick, a lottery pick. Where'd he go? Where'd he fall in the draft?
12, 14.
Yeah, I thought 13th or something like that. But I think they've got one they should keep there and, of course, move these other guys. But I hear what you're saying. Maybe I'm higher on them than you are. Our next game. Cavaliers 115, Bulls 92. Bulls are shorthanded here, but TK, what do you think of this one?
Bulls were no doubt shorthanded. They're decimated with injuries and COVID, and it proved to be too much against the Cavs, but I don't really think that's much of an excuse. Basically the same team that they had against the Nuggets, and they went out and beat them. The effort just wasn't the same for the Bulls as it was against Denver, and the Cavs defense is a much worse matchup for a starting lineup that really doesn't have any three-point shooting. Give the Bulls Chris Duarte. I'd love to see that. But the Cavs just have so much length. They were able to pack the paint against the Bulls and dare a three-point shooting team that, I think the Bulls are 28th in threes this year. Could not beat the Cavs from the outside. Chicago shot 7 of 26 from three. Cleveland went 13 of 28. That's really the game, but it was also the defense. Evan Mobley, man, this guy was incredible last night. 16 points on 8 of 11 shooting. He was too big for Ayo Dosunmu early on in the game. He had 9 rebounds, an assist, a couple of steals, and 5 blocks, which seems like he should have had more. I could have swore that Evan Mobley blocked like 10 shots in that game last night, the way he was holding it down in the paint. Needed a big game from Vucci to really have a chance in this one, but he was back to dork mode. 18 points on 8 of 23 shooting, 1 of 7 from 3. He had a ton of open threes. He had a ton of little dinkers and dumpers over the smallies for the Cavs. Could not finish. He's 41% from the field on the season as a 7-footer, 34 from 3, 63 at the line. Just has not found his shot yet. It's still early enough to turn it around, but he's the V factor for the Bulls. When he plays well, they look unbeatable, and when he's bad, Vooch, it's bad. But disappointing, understandable for the Bulls. An excellent win, though, I thought, for the Cavs. They really kicked the Bulls when they were down, dominated on both ends. They won from 3. They won inside. They won on the glass. They won the bench battle. They were better on offense. They were better on defense. Dominant performance. The Cavs are back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is not one of those losses that Bulls were just embarrassing. They were outplayed at both ends of the floor. And talking about Evan Mobley's blocks, was that a block or a steal on Zach LaVine that time when he went inside and basically just mugged the ball out of his hands? I mean, I'm not sure what the official box score said, but
I think he got a steal because the Cavs broadcasters were yelling, "That's a block," and that he had 5 blocks to that point. So I was thinking, man, this guy's getting a triple-double. Yeah. I thought he was getting a triple-double with blocks. I thought he was going to get there. Like Trey said, I thought he was going to get there. But, yeah, they gave him a steal instead, and then the number just didn't tick up. But he was altering shots all over the place.
He's going to be a potential 5x5 guy, right? You can see that happen. Get a couple of deflection steals. Obviously can get the blocks and can probably do enough of the other stuff, too, to get you to the 5, at least in each category. The Twitter buzz last night with him, Leigh, was like, as a rookie, is he going to make an all-defensive team?
He's in that conversation. He's at that table. He's in the restaurant.
We have a restaurant and tables for the all-defensive teams? I didn't know this.
Yeah. I mean, usually that tends to be an award that you have to earn over years.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if there has been a rookie who's made certainly first team. It would seem unlikely, but look, he's everywhere, and he's more than just the stat guy. It's not just that he's getting the blocks and the steals. He affects shots, and he changes the way guys when they go into the paint. He's always there because he's long, he's athletic, and he gets up there and contests shots. So he's in that in that conversation for sure.
Got a shot at second team. If you look at the names, Gobert, Draymond, Giannis, Mikal Bridges, there's 3 front court spots. Those 4 are probably all locks. And so, 3 and that 3 obviously on each team. So there's 6 spots. Gobert, Draymond, Giannis, Bridges, Embiid. And it gets a little, a
lot of season left, of course.
It can be close.
Did Duncan make a all-defensive team in his rookie season? I would sort of
feels like
probably.
So. Yeah, probably. But I can't think of any others off the top of my head, Leigh. Guards or forwards. Because you're right. It usually takes a couple of years to establish a rookie on the defensive end, but he is awesome, and he's definitely deserving to be at least in the conversation earlier in the season here. So nice win from the Cavaliers. Pretty dominant performance there. Okay,
second team all defense for Tim Duncan as a rookie.
Okay, there you go.
Right,
nice. Could you tell if that was? Oh, you just looked up Duncan. We don't know if anybody else has done it. I guess
I just looked up Duncan.
All right, let us know, stream team. Somebody out there hit basketball reference up. Let us know if there's any other rookies that have made an all-defensive team over the last, 20 years or so. Okay, a game we know Tass was watching, but we'll go to you firstly. Wizards 119, Pistons 116 in overtime.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have been overtime, but it did get there. And then in overtime, Kyle Kuzma hits another big corner 3, and boy, did he break out the celebrations. He had the finger guns out, and then he's from Michigan. He was waving to both the fans who were there in attendance last night, and the Wizards picked up a very, very well, in the end, they got the win, but they nearly blew it there. Bradley Beal turned the ball over late at the end of the fourth quarter. Jeremy Grant had to go to the free throw line, made 2 free throws and did. But despite the loss, I want to just point this out. Cade Cunningham in overtime was actually really, really good. He scored 8 of the Pistons' 10 points, and all of them were attacking the paint, driving inside, trying to get really high percentage looks, finished with his left hand. Really showed a lot of maturity for a rookie. Didn't settle for any jumpers and didn't try to play any hero ball. Played high percentage basketball. So the Pistons had a chance in this game. They forced themselves back into it, but the Wizards get the win. And Kuz, he's getting quite the highlight reel of big time fourth quarter and especially corner threes. Last night did it again. So well done to him and the Wiz.
Yeah, Tass, anything to add to the Wizards' victory here? Kyle Kuzma waving goodbye to the crowd.
Well, yeah, I tuned into this one mostly late, fourth quarter and overtime, and I was kind of depressed watching this game because I just thought to myself, I'm watching Wizards Pistons here. I mean, I could be doing other things. I've got a family. I've got books in my bookcase. I could be watching something else more entertaining, but I'm watching Wizards Pistons. So it was a little depressing, to be honest. But
you do get paid for it at the very least.
Well, I don't have. I watched. You know how immersed I was in basketball last night. There's 13 games, and I'm watching Wizards Pistons. That has to be the last one on the docket, I would say.
Yeah, but you make it sound like you're sitting there like crying while you're watching it.
It's a Clockwork Orange. They're like holding his eyes open to watch it.
Yeah, well, it is the Wizards and Pistons. But I was watching because the Pistons and Cade Cunningham, who finished off this game real nice. There's a story there. There is hope there. And James Edwards on The Athletic wrote about it today. He said, this is the worst team in the NBA. People are talking about OKC having to be relegated, but let's get serious here. The Pistons are the worst team in the NBA. Are they in a better position than when they started this rebuild/tank? They are. They are in a better position because they do have that hope. And the Wizards should have been a team, even though we're at 15-11 with this team and their expectations were lower than that. They should have smacked this Pistons team, and I think they are going to come back down to earth. They are not as good as that 15-11 record would indicate, and they've got a tough schedule coming, and they get down to teams really early. I think part of the overachievement, I think, of guys like Kuzma and Harrell, who are playing well, kind of overshadows that they get out to these bad starts, especially because Beal and Dinwiddie haven't played a lot together. It looks like they're not on the same page a lot of the time. It looks like they're playing two different games. So the Wizards should have smacked, and I think they're going to lose a few of their upcoming games and come back to the 500 earth pretty soon because they're playing a little over their heads, IMO.
Yeah, I guess someone else that was watching that game was LeBron James, was he not? Or at least he saw the highlight of Kyle Kuzma hitting the three. I think he dropped
He wasn't watching, man.
or something like on Twitter last night.
If it makes you feel better, Tass, I only watched the shitty games last night. I just did the math really quick here. The average margin of defeat in the games I really immersed myself in, 18 points. And I say they're shitty because Charlie Knockout mentions here Wiz and Pis. That's the number one matchup of the night.
Well done, Charlie.
Yeah,
Okay, a couple more games until we take our first break because we actually have a ton of games still to get to. Let's go to the Mavericks 104, Grizzlies 96. Tass, what do you got from this one?
Well, it was a bit of an ugly game at the end because Dillon Brooks was pissed. Back to the number one, Piss and Wiz. Dillon Brooks was so mad with the officiating in this one. The Grizz, understandably mad with some of the officiating. They weren't getting calls, but the Mavericks stole this game in the fourth quarter. They pulled away a good Mavericks win after losing the night before against the Nets. But Memphis wasn't playing hard enough to win this game, and they got some bad calls against them. And then they were angry, so they had 4 techs against them in the last half of the fourth quarter. And Dillon Brooks, the biggest star of them all, because he was tossed with 27 seconds left. I think it was a bit of theater where he just wanted to yell at everyone and say, "Hey, I really care about this team." He was going after each ref one by one as he was tossed. His assistants, the Grizzly assistants, had to come grab him off the floor and get him off the floor, but he was pointing at each guy, each referee, saying, "You suck, you suck, you suck too." And then he demanded that he go to the podium, go do a press conference. According to our Joe Varden, he said, "I want to talk about this." And now he's going to get fined $25,000 because he said the refs suck, essentially. And they made it all about them. Quote, that was a bunch of bull. They made it all about them. Now, they definitely had some bad calls in this game. And Memphis was it was a good place to play if you remember the playoffs, or a good place to watch a game, I should say, and a good place to play if you're a Grizzlies fan, because they yell, they scream, and there was a lot of refs you suck chants in the fourth quarter, and deservedly so. There was some bad calls, but Dylan Brooks, he went off, and then he said, yeah, but we also suck too. We should have played a lot better, and that's what happened. But a good win for the Mavericks to steal that thing, because we talked the night before about the Mavericks not being able to beat the Nets, and they went and won an ugly game, which is not what you think about when you think about Mavericks basketball.
That's right. John Morant, I think, is coming back somewhat soon here, Leigh, by all accounts, but Grizzlies dropped their first one without him in the lineup. Tom Ziller says in his newsletter this morning that that's just good. That's just good teammates there. The Grizzlies don't want to look like they don't want to be undefeated without John Morant. So they almost threw this game as he gets closer to a return to make him feel really wanted. So well done.
That's an important thing for the team here. But they did really well to hang in there without John Morant. So great for them. But also Luka Doncic, he was a little bit questionable coming into this game. Nearly finished with the rare quadruple double. He had the 9 turnovers, but he actually sort of steered his team to victory here. And that's, I think, what is important. It's like, just get a win. They needed a win badly. This was a team they should beat, and they did. So well done there for the Mavericks and Doncic bouncing back after the night before.
Yeah, didn't Ja enter health and safety protocols, though?
Oh, right. Yeah.
He did.
Yes, he did. No.
I don't.
There's a lot of that going on right now.
It's impossible to keep track.
Yeah.
Injury was, improving, but then yesterday, you're in healthy safety protocols, and he said he's reportedly fully vaccinated, and the booster. So hopefully he'll be back.
Yeah, I had totally forgotten about that. Good to see Luka hit the 3, though. Like you said, Leigh hit 5. And then Reggie Bullock, too. Remember we were talking about him and how he couldn't hit a 3-pointer to save his life this season. He hit 4 of 6 last night. Tim Hardaway Jr. struggled off the bench, just 1 of 6 from downtown. But they also just didn't take as many as they had the night or two prior there, where they were, I forget what their average was. They shot under 20%, but they took a whole lot. Only 33 attempts last night, and hit a pretty average number of them, but that's fine. Got to come big contributions there from at least one of your sharpshooters there in Bullock to get the victory. All right, our final game before the break. Rockets 114, Nets 104. Now, there are 2 things that I wanted to bring up from this game. First one, Harden makes his return to the fan-filled Toyota Center, after being traded from the Rockets last season. No hard feelings by all accounts, right? Crowd gave him a standing ovation. They had the tribute video playing during the game. And then Harden went with the old heart symbols. Threw up the heart symbols.
James Harden.
Yeah, James Harden. And so my question for you, Trey, was, you're in this scenario. You played 8-9 years for a franchise. You're one of the greatest to ever do it. You leave sort of under, rough conditions, but you come back and you do get the warm reception. What's your go-to hand signal to the crowd? You go hearts? Do you go, bless you, thank you? Do you clap for them? Do you kisses like Leigh would do, like he's watching Kyle Korver shoot threes? Yeah, what's your move?
It's a great question, Skeets. Thanks for asking. What's my go-to hand signal here? I probably wouldn't go with the hand signal, if I'm being quite honest. Maybe I would go with some clapping, hands out to the crowd, thank you very much, and then I'm getting down on the floor and I'm giving a quick
kiss
to the half court logo. And then maybe if they're really feeling it, then I'll go with some I love you signs.
Okay.
I love you, rock and roll. Also, I love you. That to me is the ultimate I love you sign, as compared to making a heart with your hands. I don't know why, but I never go for the heart. I would prefer to go for, the fingers.
What about just straight brownies for you, Trey?
Show them the nips.
Hey!
Thanks for having me back, everyone.
Love you too. You stand nips. Same question, Leigh. What are you doing, man?
Well, I mean, the Korver kisses. I don't know if that sort of is relevant to come out to the fans and is that? I mean,
that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if that's your sort of go-to move when you were there,
Then the whole
arena,
crowd could be catching them.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah, throwing them back as well. Yeah, actually, why not? That's fine. Yeah, I don't want to sort of put my lips on the dirty floor where everyone's shoes have been. So,
True.
Being
COVID protocol. Yeah.
Very good point.
Okay. A task, why not? I mean,
I'm licking the floor. I'm licking the floor. That's how much I appreciate everybody in that.
Remember that Hideo Turkoglu clip that we did? He just made his return and he licked his hands and wiped them all over himself for like the first minute.
Oh yeah,
gross. Yeah,
yeah. He went like full Steve Nash.
Yeah,
100% Nash, licking fingers. All right. Well, the other part from the actual game, Rockets guard Garrison Matthews. Garry Bird. It has stuck. They're saying it on the broadcast. I'm seeing people tweet it. He is Garry Bird. Is it two R's in Gary? I think you have to, right?
Yeah.
Because of Larry? Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to confirm that. So Garry Bird, Garrison Matthews, he scored 12 of his 19 in the fourth quarter. He had a key steal on Harden there to help secure the win. You also had Josh Christopher. Who? Josh Christopher. Yeah. He was celebrating his 20th birthday. He's a rookie, obviously, for the Rockets. He scored a career at 18. Perfect 7-7 from the field. He had 4 threes. Now, look, the Nets were without Kevin Durant, but they're still a decent team. They were without some other guys as well. And Houston here, Tass, they've won 7 in a row after losing 15 straight. The streak continues here, but it was weird or wild to see Garry Bird continue to ball out. And then now Josh Christopher is a big dunk in this too.
Garry Bird, I just looked up the box score. He went 3 from 11 from 3 last night. Garry Bird.
What?
He went 3 from 11
well, that's
from
like,
3.
I mean, that's like, what? Larry Bird probably would have shot around those
I know.
numbers too, right?
That's like a full season for Larry Bird.
Yeah,
That's
that's true. That's true. That's a good point. I'm sorry, I got confused because I thought you said Josh Christopher did that. I was like, no, he didn't. He was perfect. Okay, yeah, Garry Bird. But, wow, Tass, anything to add to the Rockets, man? This is unbelievable.
Yeah, the day after Larry Bird's 65th birthday, Garry Bird, he was hitting the floor, though. Did you see the steal on James Harden? James Harden tried to walk the dog, and Garry Bird was getting on his knees there. Yeah, he's a white guy who can shoot a little bit. So they've started calling him Garry Bird. And it is sticking. But yeah, how long is it going to stay?
Oh, come on. Adam Reed mentions 3 times 11 equals 33. Gary is Larry confirmed. And it is his month, as Taylor Stein points out. Gary Christmas. Okay.
Gary Dinkmas. I'm now saying Gary Christmas.
I love it.
Another good line, too, from Zilla's newsletter this morning. Stephen Silas was on the hot seat, before this hot streak. Now he's on the hot streak for winning too much. They're like, yeah, back it up there. Great stuff.
Yeah. This is wild that this streak continues, though. And they are getting contributions from him. And Eric Gordon, Tass, 21. And people do think that's a guy that teams are calling about to try and get on their roster, being a vet. And you could see him in a 6-man, 7th-man role, maybe even spot starter minutes, depending on an injury or two. If you're a contender, I think Eric Gordon makes some sense. And you would believe the Rockets would be open to receiving calls about him.
Everybody's got to be asking about him. It's not going to cost you 2 first-round picks. No way for Eric Gordon at this point of his career. But, yeah, I was watching the Heat yesterday play, and I talked about, the depth on their roster a little bit. They've got so many young guys on the roster. They also hope to get Victor Oladipo back at some point. Maybe if he doesn't come back, Eric Gordon could fill in very nicely. They need a little bit more of those vets on the bench, as I said. Like, it's a little Spurs feel with the Heat. He could be a little Gary Neal, Marco Bellinelli, come hit some shots off the bench for sure. But yeah, you gotta love the Rockets. It's pretty exciting for them. Josh Christopher, 20th birthday. Listen, I don't know much about him. He's their first-round pick. He is exciting, but the thing I know about him is that he's the brother of Patrick Christopher, the guy who looked like LeBron James.
I didn't know that.
Wow, really?
Yeah, the guy who looked like LeBron, sitting behind LeBron.
Yeah.
Eating some, I don't know, Bojangles or something there with the hat. And LeBron tweeted about it, my doppelganger. Yeah, that's his bro, Patrick Christopher, who played in the league for a sec. But the Nets loss, gross. I went through the Nets roster yesterday thinking that they would all sort of come on, that they were coming on behind Kevin Durant. And then, yeah, it's unfortunate Harden didn't have a good game. But, when Harden doesn't have a good game, and do they have enough help? I was hoping for their sake that they're getting enough help, but they obviously didn't in this one. If Harden has a bad one, I don't know if they can do it without Durant.
Only because you've brought his name up twice now. Gary Neal. Do you think he's upset that he was never called Garry Bird? I mean, his name is Gary.
Larry Neal.
Not white enough, Gary. Sorry.
I mean, Garrison. It's not even Gary. We're just calling him Garry Bird. Okay. Yeah, he's also not white, which you have to be if you're getting a Garry Bird or a Larry Bird.
Yeah, but hey, some good compilations of Larry Bird showing how freaking good he was, because people forget. People forget. The guy could play basketball. He wasn't just a white man.
You think people forget that Larry Bird was good at basketball?
Yeah.
I don't.
100%.
One-on-one, who are you taking?
he's
Gary Bird or Larry Bird?
What?
One-on-one, who are you taking? Gary Bird or Larry Bird?
Wow, I mean, he's a lot more athletic, I would think.
A lot more, yeah.
But I'm taking Larry. Come on.
See, but you guys are exactly in Twitter.com mode right now. Larry Bird wasn't athletic. The guy was freaking athletic. Yeah. Like he could move on a basketball floor. That's why everyone says, "Oh, he's white. He can't play in today's age." People think he was athletic. Leigh, old man, help me out here. Larry Bird was athletic, right?
Absolutely, yeah. His early stuff, there's a lot of dunks and a lot of really athletic players, but the back obviously really slowed him down those last 4 or 5 years. But that play against the Houston Rockets in the 81 finals where he misses the shot, and runs in, grabs his own offensive rebound, is going out of court, and then he flips it up with his left hand. I mean, that's outstanding athleticism there from Larry.
Yeah, let's see that Gary Bird. I'd love to see Garrison Matthews try and do that.
Gary Bird would wax Larry Bird.
Get out of here.
It's going to be a take like that. Someone on Twitter is going to get that take going, and then people will engage with it, and it'll be one of those things, people just that's what happens on Twitter. It gets stupid, but
listen, the compilation was great. Lots of dunks. And so I'm going to share that. And also, it's a good thing you brought up that Larry Bird stole the ball. Bird stole the ball, because that's what the Rockets said when Gary Matthews got on his hands and knees and stole the walk of dog from James Harden. He said, Bird stole the ball. And I don't even know if he could really commit to that, because it's frickin' Garrison Matthews. But he kind of half committed, because it's Gary Matthews.
I was just going to say, we have to take a break here, but his name is Garrison. Did he go by Gary, like with his friends and family and teammates? Does anybody know the answer? Or like, do you call him? I don't know either.
I don't know his friends and family that well, but I'll try and follow up with them.
Well, I also don't know a Garrison in my life, so I've never had the ability to possibly call a Garrison Gary. No,
I would definitely call him. I definitely would call him Gary if I met him. Yeah,
really.
Gary, how are you?
You had a wide everything, you crazy Australians. All right, let's take our first break. When we come back, we will get to the hold on, quick math here. 6 other games from last night. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, this is hot off the presses. We just got some new Stance copy, guys. So I'm looking at it, and there's a lot of rules in it. The first one, personal experience / touch required. Please do not read this unless you have received the product. Well, Stance, I don't know what to tell you. I'm up in the no dunk sock read rotation, and I haven't received anything yet.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I know. But you know what? They probably know, because I said on my last ad read that I subscribed to Stance for a whole year. So I've got 12 pairs of Stance socks. So I've got tons of the product. And frankly, I love it. In fact, I'm wearing my Lucky Raptors black and gold Stance socks right now.
Nice.
Had them for at least 4 years. They're the most comfortable, durable socks I've ever owned. I was going to set up a sock cam, but then I was afraid Probst would be watching, and we know what a freak he can be. So just to suffice it to say, they're the best socks I've ever owned. Stance has made gift giving super simple this holiday season. We're doing a Secret Santa here with my family, and I was kind of counting on those freebies, Stance. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm happy to spend my money, and part of the reason we got this last minute ad copy is that Stance is offering a 15% discount on your first purchase using the promo code NODUNK. So it's all worth it, so I'm happy to spend my money. Founded in 2009, Stance Apparel represents a radical reinvention of socks, underwear, and active apparel with a sharp focus on comfort, quality, and creativity. Stance brings an atypical aesthetic alongside some of Pop's hottest collaborators for the ultimate in style and self-expression. It's a little wordy there, Stance, but that's fine. It's fine. I'm with you. Because everything...
Got a word for each toe.
Exactly. Because everything you should wear should be a direct extension of who you are and how you feel. Wow, that's deep. Stance believes that the perfect fit matters more than fitting in, that those who feel good do good. Go see for yourself. Register for an account at stance.com and get 15% off your first purchase. Use promo code NODUNKS at checkout to apply. Enjoy the color and comfort of a life less ordinary with Stance.
Grammarly, our old friend. It's been a while since I've hit y'all with a fresh Grammarly ad read, maybe since the now legendary Kirk Franklin GP. Are you with me? But guess what, Skeets? I've still been using Grammarly every single day since. That's legit real life usage. Maybe you're searching for the perfect turn of phrase. Just use Grammarly's free double-click synonym feature to search for replacements for the word giving you difficulty. Or is that trouble? Or is that stress? Or is that problems? Or was it actually difficulty that you were thinking of? You can set your audience and desired tone before you start with Grammarly's goals feature. Then just watch as Grammarly makes suggestions as you go. When you're done, Grammarly's built-in tone detector tells you how your message comes across. Grammarly is a straight-up tone arranger, so take the stress out of getting the words right with Grammarly. Right now, you can get 20% off Grammarly Premium at Grammarly.com/NoDunks. That's 20% off at GRAMMARLY.com/NoDunks.
Yeah, like everyone, I have a million photos on my phone that I always think I'll eventually get around to doing something with rather than just scroll through them or, desperately try to find one to upload during a show when someone had said something like the classic muscles in Brussels there last week. Now, Skeetsy, I know you love that sort of stuff, so does JD, but it isn't actually the most effective way to share and play with your photos. Canva Pro, on the other hand, is a design platform that empowers you to create and share stunning content like photos in just a few clicks, which is especially great right now because they've just launched a new product just in time for Christmas, the Photo Book. Now, there are, of course, a ton of other photo book options out there. I have a few, in fact, but Canva Pro will be my next one because it allows you not just to put together your regulation photo book, but one you can really sexy up with a variety of different fonts and elements and layouts and charts and grids, emojis. You can throw emojis in there, which is pretty cool. And if you've ever received one of those photo books from an in-law, there's probably a few photos and a bit of the layout that you would change or, edit, like a few too many of your kids. Let's get some of my kids in there. It's one of those, family photo books here. Well, Canva Pro allows you to work together. So it's a team project, which helps you stay organized on the same page and on top of the file. So there's no more of that tedious back and forth. So you can have a real imprint there on the photo book, not just get it as a present designed by somebody else. Plus, you and 4 teammates can unlock everything Canva Pro has to offer for just $12.99 a month. With Canva Pro's Content Planner, you'll save time planning, creating, and posting social media content too, and you can pause scheduled posts and edit them at any time. That's what we all like, the ability to sort of think, I want to go back in and tweak something, change something, do whatever. You can do that with Canva Pro. Design like a pro with Canva Pro. Right now, you can get a free 45-day extended trial. So that'll give you enough time to get all those Christmassy photos together, and you've still got plenty of time to put that album right. Especially when you use my promo code. Just go to canva.me/nodunks to get your free 45-day extended trial. That's canva.me/nodunks. Canva.me/nodunks.
All right, back with No Dunks. Going to touch on the remaining games, from last night, though I just saw that the Raptors have canceled their practice today out of an abundance of caution due to health and safety protocols. Okay, that's the Raptors. And this is on the heels of the Indiana Pacers doing the exact same thing. Knicks just played the Pacers. Knicks are headed to the Raptors, or up into Toronto, up into Canada. Who knows if they're linked at all, but that's what's going on as we try and keep track of all this craziness. Okay, back to the games, though.
Hold on. Let me you said the Pacers there. Let me add this. This quote from Myles Turner on an article just published on The Athletic. This is good considering that he is obviously in trade talks. This is his quote, latest article with Jared Rice on The Athletic. He said, quote, "It's clear that I'm not valued as anything more than a glorified role player here, and I want something more opportunity. I'm trying really hard to make that role that I'm given here work and find a way to maximize it. I've been trying the past 2 or 3 seasons, but it's clear to me that just numbers wise, I'm not valued as more than a rotational role player, and I hold myself in a higher regard than that." Whew. That's
Spicy.
Those are spicy words in the NBA sphere for sure.
Not holding back. Trade me. Let me show what I can do for some other team. Myles Turner is a fascinating player when you see the reaction to people on Twitter, let's say. Like, some people are like, they agree with Myles Turner. They're like, no, wait till he's on a let's say a good team or above average team. People will be like going nuts over him. Like, oh, this guy's so amazing for, his position and what he can do on both ends of the floor. And then the other extreme, Leigh, is like, no, he is basically a role player and he's not as good as everybody maybe thinks he is. It's like this really, really like wide spectrum that people cast their opinion about Myles Turner on.
Yeah, and I think it's right both times. You have games where he has those 7 threes, and it's like, wow, this guy is a big floor spacing big guy, and he can block shots. I mean, he's led the league in blocks before, but he doesn't really get the respect as a defensive player of the year. I remember a couple of years ago, he was really pissed when he didn't win it. So he's one of those guys who does contribute, but I think sometimes you just wonder exactly how impactful those contributions are. But I definitely think he needs a fresh start to see, go to a better team, go to a different team, and just see if someone can make him into a better player than we're seeing in Indiana anyway.
I just voted on YouTube for our poll. Who wins a one-on-one game? Larry Bird or Garry Bird?
Yeah.
Larry Bird's winning. It's close though. 55-45. Gary's on the board.
So Larry has more votes? That's what you said?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I just voted, so maybe if I refresh, things are hot here on our YouTube channel, in the YouTube community tab, if that's where it's happening. 33 votes, 55-45. It's a close one. Larry and Garry.
It's also on Twitter right now, too, at No Dunk Sink as well. And Garry Bird is winning that one. He has more votes on Twitter. So you called it, Tass. That is a Twitter take right there. Saying the modern player would wax the Hall of Fame legend who we've all forgot is good at basketball. But it's absolutely true. Garry Bird would wipe the floor with Larry Bird. And give a quick little at the center court logo.
All right.
I just voted for Garry Bird on Twitter. I voted for Larry Bird on YouTube.
Okay, great. Let's go to the Warriors 104, Blazers 94. Trey, what do you got?
This game was ridiculous. All night long, it was billed as Steph Curry is going to break the all-time three-point record tonight. Not could break. He is going to break it as if he were one shot away from the record. Honestly, everybody thought it was possible. Steph said it was possible. Steve Kerr said it was possible. We all thought it was possible. The broadcasters certainly thought it was possible. Steph even said, I'm going to take about 18 attempts. So all he needed to do was go a cool 16 for 18 from 3 to pass Ray Allen and break Klay Thompson's single-game record all at once. And it's only when you say it out loud that you realize how ridiculous it sounds. It's like tuning into a baseball game and being like, today is the day that Barry Bonds hits 5 home runs.
Yeah.
It's possible. No one has done it since the balls were made of human skin, but it is possible. And that is the power of Steph Curry. He convinces you that the impossible is likely. He got up 17 three-pointers last night, and he made 6 of them. And the Warriors were really going out of their way, I thought, to get him shots. Kind of reminded me of that All-Star Game event when they brought out Steph to hit half-court shots for charity. Everybody's getting hyped, like, let's go. We're going to see a guy make 10 straight half-court shots here. It's going to be wild. He started missing. Then they're like, you can take a few more threes if you want. You'll make one of them, right? Like, eventually you're going to hit one of these. Kept missing, and it was like, oh, right. Half-court shots are actually hard to make. So for me, last night, I finally felt safe going to bed after the third quarter. Steph had 6 threes at that point. Like, now's the time. There's no way he's hitting 10 threes in the fourth quarter. But even as I'm walking upstairs, I'm thinking, I'm going to be kicking myself if this guy hits 10 threes in the fourth quarter against the Blazers. He didn't. He made 6. He finished with 6 in the Warriors win. So he's 9 shy of tying Ray Allen's record. He needs 10 to pass. The next chance is against his brother in Philadelphia on Saturday with Mike Breen on the call. And I checked, there's no Hornets game that day. So Del Curry could also be in attendance if he wants to come and see history go down. Steph has made 9 threes 4 times this season. He hasn't hit 10 yet in a game this year. But 10 is a lot more feasible than 16.
Yeah.
Like we were, like it was so hyped up yesterday. They were like, oh, he's going to go hit 16 threes. Like it wasn't even a question until they actually started playing. It was very weird to me. But,
I think that was Steph's doing, though, was it not?
Totally.
Because he said, like, yeah, I might go for it. I could do it. And then we were like, damn, well, I guess he could.
Oh,
yeah.
I guess he can.
Yeah.
But
you lasted longer than I did there, Trey, because this game was garbage to start. The Warriors couldn't hit a 3. And I was like, nah, this ain't happening tonight. I feel comfortable going to bed. I went to bed like middle of the second quarter. I'm like, he's not breaking it tonight. No, you're right. A part of me, as I shut my eyes, was like, oh, God, I'm going to regret this, aren't I? He's going to hit 15 in the second half or some crazy shit. But, yeah, it was a solid enough victory, of course, from the Warriors. But the record still stands for one more night. Leigh, do you think it happens in Philadelphia?
Well, I hope he gets to like 8, and then Joel Embiid's like, you're not doing it on me in our team, in our city. And Joel Embiid's like, I'm just going to defend this guy now. And, Steph will take that challenge, of course, but that's the sort of thing. I mean, you saw that a bit from the Blazers, I think, last night. Chauncey Billups was like, listen, we've been embarrassed and humiliated enough. Let's not just have this guy out there making even more fun of us. We want to make it as difficult as we can. So they survived that. But that's the sort of thing that when's the game against Philadelphia? Sorry, is it on Saturday?
Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday night, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
National TV, ABC,
Yeah.
Breen.
Oh, that's
bang.
everything then, isn't it? Yeah, Steph's definitely going to go for it. This is it's going to be exciting. I'll be tuning in for that one for sure.
Yeah, Trey brings up a great point about Breen, because that is a flashback to me. Remember when Steph hit that game winner against OKC, that way deep shot? It was in I think Andre Robertson's face. Anyways, it was way back. It was 2016, but it was a ridiculous shot. It was a regular season game, but it was on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
ABC, national TV. Yeah. Does he wait? Now that he didn't hit 16, if you don't do it in Philly, you're not going to do it in Indiana. Then do you wait for Madison Square Garden? I mean, there's no fans in Indiana. You can't. Well, there's not. They're last.
Maybe they turn up for that. They turn up for the history there. They're like,
if they don't sell out that game, come on.
Yeah, because Reggie Miller, I mean, he was the leader there for a while. So they've got some 3-point history there in Indiana. Maybe they turn up.
Yeah, maybe Reggie's there. Yeah.
And then people are saying here in the stream team, I'd have to crunch the numbers, but could Curry be hitting 3,000 3-pointers made on Christmas Day?
On Gary Christmas?
On Gary Christmas. Who would win a 1-on-1? Garry Bird or Steph Curry?
Now see, at least they're in the same era. So
okay. I think Garry gets my vote still.
Yeah, I mean he plays defense.
He's physical.
He's scrappy.
So Ray Allen will be in the building then, wouldn't he, in Philadelphia? He'll be following him around until he breaks it, so they can have that moment.
So?
Yeah. Of course. I mean,
so
Reggie
Ray Allen
was on
has
the call.
to follow him around here for the next 3 games? That seems unfortunate.
I mean, Reggie was on the call when Ray passed him, so I think that's the thing. It's like, all right, you're going to Philadelphia, Ray. Be there. All right.
Oh, do you think they stopped the game?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not immediately, but at the next sort of top, there'll be some sort of ceremony for sure. Okay. They'll well done, Steph. You broke the record.
Why don't they say it a little louder?
That's a road game. We're not that excited. Yeah. Way to go.
Okay. Well, this was a very entertaining finish. Thunder 110, Raptors 109. Leigh, so close for the Toronto Raptors, but it was 0.1 second late, the old tip.
Yeah. Look, the Raptors nearly stole this game, which is not something we should be saying. But listen, I just want to give a little bit of credit here to the OKC Thunder, because since the humiliation of the 73-point loss, they've won 2 games in a row and come back from double digits both times on the road. Now, Thunder, look, they deserve to be made fun of after losing by that many points to the Grizzlies, but they have fought back and they've showed some real character. And last night, I don't know, Skizzy, I mean, how do you feel about this? Gilgeous-Alexander was great, especially in that third quarter. Duarte was great. Josh Giddey was great.
Doherty. Don't call him Doherty. Come on.
Brad Doherty.
I told you need you had a wide
I
everything.
mean, it's Canadians and Australians coming back in Toronto to get the win for OKC there. But a wild ending. Champagny, who hit a gorgeous up and under layup to give the Raptors the lead late. And then it was the Moose, Mike Muscala, who drilled the dagger there for the Thunder to give them a lead. And then the Raptors had the play, the last one. Fred went inside. He throws the ball up and Champagny tips it. And it looked good. I think they actually originally counted it, but then they waved it off afterwards. And so the Raptors go down. But, man, all those Canadians and Australians doing it in Toronto. The Raptors had a big lead and blew it. This is a bad loss for Toronto, to be fair. I mean, they should have won this game, but the Thunder, things have changed, man. They're back. The Thunder are 2-0 since the embarrassment.
Oh, yeah. I think you wanted them relegated. You wanted them investigated.
I wanted
by
them
the
to
league.
compete. I
you wanted them
compete.
shut down and banned from ever playing basketball again. I remember. Yeah.
The thing is, now obviously Gilgeous-Alexander and Giddey didn't play in that and lost there to the Grizzlies, but you want to see a little bit more competitiveness of like, we're getting completely humiliated and they didn't seem to mind. That's my point there. So since then, though, again, really have shown some character and some fight. So good on them. And that's, to me, is how the best way to respond. So people go, okay, that was an aberration, that disaster. Instead, this team is showing some fight now.
Tass, what do you think of the Raptors' third quarter there last night versus OKC? What they score? 12?
Sometimes the offense is horrendous. That's what I think. Yeah. And then you just, I don't know. Do you feel good that it's a rebuilding year? I don't know. It's with this team. No more feelings. I don't know. I mean, Josh Giddey flew under the radar in this one, just like Xander did in that episode of Survivor last night. How is Xander flying under the radar? I just want to plug your guys' show later on because it's unbelievable, this Xander guy. Why doesn't he have a target on his back? He should. Maybe it's from the TV perspective, from the viewer's perspective that I'm watching it though. Maybe nobody else cares about Big X.
Yeah.
I get it.
Did you think
he looks like Josh Giddey?
Did you think Justin's tip was good last night?
Oh, of course.
I thought it was too in real time. I was like, oh yeah. And so I admit, I think I was persuaded by the referees counting it too. You're right, Leigh. I was like, damn, that was close. But then you saw the replay and it was pretty obviously still in his fingers there as the light lit up on the scoreboard. But yeah, bad loss from the Raptors. But you're right, Leigh. I watched this game when Shea's playing. Doherty, as you call him, is playing. I'm like, I can't lose. Especially when they're playing well. I thought Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's pass to Muscala for the wide open three. I thought that was like a really heads up play too. Like he drove. You want to see that? Put pressure on the defense. The Raptors just like collapse on him. There were like 3 or 4 guys around him. And I still think in that case, he's in his home country, he's in his home city. You just want to be the hero sometimes, right? Like, try and hit the game winner. And he realized there was nothing there. He was just bottled up, patiently turned around and kicked it open to a wide open Muscala who splashed it. I thought that was a really nice play by him, or at least like not to force the action, which I think so many people would have done.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, especially after that third quarter he had where he was hot, and it's like it's his team. He has certainly the authority on that team to take that last shot, but made the right play. So well done, Mike Muscala. I mean, if you're rebuilding, Mike Muscala is exactly the sort of player you want on your team, isn't he? Journeyman, veteran, goes out there, but hit the big 3 last night. The Moose, good on him.
A moose in Canada.
Even better. It just keeps getting better and better.
Moosey.
He could go back to the Lakers. Wasn't he a Laker for a second? If they need
the Zubac trade, right?
Yeah. He could be their center that they get on the cheap because they can't afford Myles Turner or something like that. Yeah. Obviously he could stretch it a little bit, but the champagne tweets would have been awesome if he put it in. One of those rare one of those rare tips that's like several feet from the bucket. Like he wasn't anywhere close. It was like a volleyball tip over the net.
All right, our next game here. Nuggets 120, Pelicans 114. It took overtime to get it done, Pass.
Nikola Jokic, man. He continues to be one of the best players in the league, the absolute very best players in the league, because he's carrying this team that has nobody, that is so shorthanded in their backcourt with Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, PJ Dozier, but they're at 12-12. 12-12, and I bring up that he's one of the best players in the league. And I bring up that they're 12-12 because they're only 1.5 games out of the 4 spot in the Western Conference. So if this Nikola Jokic, this high tide Jokic that continues to lift these boats of the Nuggets, if he continues to do this, he's got a shot at the MVP. He's still within shouting distance of the table because he's just so good. 39, 11, and 11 last night. He was 17 of 23. That's how good he is. And this Nuggets team should not be that good, but that's how spectacular he is. And they should have lost this at the end. They're down 5, 2 minutes left. And the Pelicans just couldn't seal it. Jokic, 2-man game with Monte Morris, just got it done. And it looked like Jokic would end this game. Talking about game-winning buckets, it looked like Jokic had it. It was tied. He did the sidestep, the old driveway dad jump shot that's not a jump shot. It went in and out. It looked like it was over, but then he just finished it off in overtime, outscoring the Pelicans 11-9 himself, because that's how freaking good he is. Can't wait to see what Greg Popovich does against him tonight. That's going to be a good matchup. Nuggets, Spurs, because the Spurs are going to throw like 58 athletic guys at Jokic, and he's going to have to pass it to everybody. But again, Monte Morris is their other best scorer. Will Barton chips in. He does. But they're lacking big time, and Jokic just carrying this team.
Leigh, do you enjoy watching a Jokic versus Valanciunas battle?
Yes, I do. I mean, everything is we know about Jokic. He's just so fun to watch. He's so soft and delicate with some of those passes, always accurate. But last night, it was almost like, I'm the best player out here. I am the MVP, and I just have to sort of carry my team. And he did, because look, Morris and Gordon, you'd like to see those guys step up, especially in a game last night where they should easily beat the Pelicans. But Jokic still had to do most of the heavy lifting there. But those little drop-off passes that he does, I mean, you never get sick of watching those where, someone will pass it into the post, he'll hold it up, and the guy will just sort of run back door, and he just kind of lets go of it. He doesn't even like flick it or push it. He just lets go, and it just drops into the guy, and he goes and lays it up. Never get sick of seeing that stuff. So he's beautiful to watch. I just feel he sort of can't win the MVP right now unless the Nuggets somehow get up into that 2nd or 3rd spot in the West. I think there's a couple of guys sort of already spacing the field a little bit there. So don't think he's going to go back to back, but certainly he's one of the most fun still to watch in the league.
Yeah. All NBA first team, I think, is still a lock for Jokic, even if he can't win MVP again, because they just won't have the victories. I mean, they're 500 right now, which is like maybe shocking as it is, Trey, for him to have them at that with all of the injuries and guys out of the lineup.
I saw Nate Jones call them the modern day Larry Bird of all players, and it's hard to debate. He's got passes that you're not expecting. He's got incredible touch, and he's money in the clutch. The Nuggets have recovered well here. They lost 6 straight games. Then they had to go on a 7-game road trip. They're 3-2. 5 games in. That's pretty solid for a team that really was sputtering there at the end of November. So, yeah, if they turn it around, they get into the top 3 in the Western Conference. Maybe then you're talking about some MVP votes for Jokic.
Yeah, that sounds right. Top 3, which won't be easy to do. But, I mean, look, he's still going to get votes. He's going to get 2nd, 3rd, 4th place votes. That's a lock. I mean, he's that incredible. But win it, that'd be tough with even if they have 40 wins, I just don't see it happening. Yeah, he's got
exactly
55, maybe something like that. 3 games left. I'll go next here. Kings 142, Magic 130. Not a lot of defense being played in this one. One of my predictions last month when the Kings fired Luke Walton was that Elvin Gentry would get this Kings team in the play-in tournament. Got off to a rough start. Things didn't really change all that much, but Kings have now won season best 3 straight. And you pair that with the Wolves loss last night, which we'll get to, and the Blazers loss, and them obviously trying to like come to a decision what the heck they're going to do and who they're going to trade. And you start thinking, Sacktown could do this here, almost by default. They're 11-14 right now, and they're tied with Minnesota for the 9th seed. So if the season ended today, they would be in there. But De'Aaron Fox, he was special in this, 33 points, 12 of 18 shooting. Halliburton helped in the 4th quarter, and they should beat a Magic team. They're one of the worst teams in the league, and they got it done. So Gentry's got them 5-3, Leigh, since he took over. Again, competition hasn't been all that incredible, but these are the games that the Kings have to win if they are going to be in a play-in tournament, which I guess is their hope here.
Yeah, and De'Aaron Fox, you mentioned the 33 points there on the 12 of 18 shooting. A couple of games, last two of the last three, sort of gotten it together a little bit. So maybe as well, Alvin Gentry's just trying to get him in better positions. But when you put up 142 points, I mean, everyone sort of looks like they have a pretty good game. Adam Silver was in attendance there last night. As Tim McMahon on ESPN said, he's really committed to the job.
Well, maybe it was Adam Silver that was a part of this. I read in the AP report for this game last night. A small but vocal group of fans seated in one corner of the Golden One Center loudly cheered every play made by Orlando backup center Robin Lopez. When Lopez was fouled and went to shoot free throws, the group chanted MVP, MVP. I want to know who these people are. I would love to have them on the show and ask them, is it like, why?
Why not?
Connection to Robin Lopez, longtime fan. Maybe they just thought, this will be hilarious. Why don't we just really lean into this tonight and pretend we're the biggest Robin Lopez fans in the world? I don't know. Yeah, any theories, Tass? Or maybe he's deserving in your mind too.
No, maybe it's some of the people who work at Disneyland there, see him all the time. He's the most valuable patron, maybe at Disneyland, MVP.
Oh, wow. It's possible.
He's great. You knew he was going to be a bit of a fan favorite there in Orlando even though they have 8 centers. Adam Silver goes. What's worse though for Adam Silver, watching Orlando, Sacramento, or me watching Detroit, Washington? What's worse?
Silver.
What's the worst game to watch?
Well, at least he's watching live basketball. You're watching it on your computer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I'm worse. I think good for Adam. Good for Adam.
There you go, Adam. Way to get out there. At least you saw Fox living in the paint. He just drove. And if he wasn't finishing right at the rim, he would just stop, spin, little fadeaway jumper or a little floater and stuff like that. The Magic had no clue how to stop that. But again, not a lot of defense being played. Cole Anthony scored a ton for the Magic as well. No defense is your type of game, Trey. No, you like a little bit.
No. You're right. I don't like defense, but I was not turning this one on last night. I was not pulling a Silver and enjoying it.
Okay, well, what about this one? Jazz 136, Wolves 104.
This is one of the shitty games I was watching last night. If you want exactly one thing from this game, the Jazz went 25 of 54 from three-point land. That's the 26th time in league history that a team has hit 25 or more threes in the regular season. Teams are 25-1 in those scenarios, so that's the game right there. If you want a second thing, however, Tass mentioned it earlier, it's how the Jazz guarded Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns finished with 22 points on 11 shots. Fine, but not good enough to win for the Timberwolves. Very little impact, especially considering Rudy Gobert got into foul trouble, and Karl Anthony Towns was being guarded by Bojan Bogdanovic for a lot of this one. Post-game, there was some great stuff from Anthony Edwards on how Towns has to attack double teams quickly, how he needs to be the Timberwolves' best player every single night, how it's disrespectful that the Jazz guarded Cat with Bogdanovic. Meanwhile, Patrick Beverley said it proves Gobert cannot be the defensive player of the year if he's not guarding the best player on the other team, which is what Patrick Beverley does every single night. Give me more Anthony Edwards and give me way less Patrick Beverley. Clown show comments from Beverley.
Fuck are they talking? You lose by 32.
You would think they won 136, 104 last night.
Like a complete and utter humiliation on your own court. And afterwards you're saying, these guys can't defend. Shut the fuck up. They should be suspended just for those stupid comments. I mean, I understand if you're bitter and you're hurt, but I mean, you're talking about a 3-time defensive player of the year. Maybe he wins it again this year. And sure, everyone, people criticize him from time to time, but you can't come out and be disrespectful of the team that just absolutely smoked you on your home court. That's just, you just don't respect those sorts of comments. I don't know, Patrick Beverley's a bit of a shit starter out there, but Jesus, shut up, you idiot.
Oh, wow. All right. Just really fired up Leigh Ellis. What do you think, Tass?
Well, yeah, a big difference between Patrick Beverley's comments there and Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards calling out his own guy, saying Karl Anthony Towns, just don't wait for doubles. Go harder. And I wonder how Karl Anthony Towns will take those types of comments made in public. On one hand, I think Anthony Edwards is the type of guy that the Timberwolves absolutely need. They have been struggling for years, just not performing every night. Is Anthony Edwards the kind of guy to rile up a Karl Anthony Towns? Yeah, but on the other hand, I don't know. Maybe guys don't like being called out in public like that. So it was, I don't know. At the end of the game, they got smacked by 30 friggin' points. And it is unfortunate that it comes out in the media and it doesn't happen in the locker room, because this Timberwolves team has an opportunity here to be very good. They I don't know. I just hope they don't blow it. They've got a couple young building blocks in Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. And Anthony Edwards is absolutely right, but I don't know how the locker room is going to gel going forward. Anyways, I love Anthony Edwards, so yeah, more Anthony Edwards.
I do have a question, just sort of back to the Kings, though it's related to the Wolves, where they are in the standings right now. Did we confirm, the Kings have the record going? They haven't made the playoffs in, 15 seasons?
Yeah.
Is that what it's at? So if they make the play-in tournament, which I've predicted they will, so they'll play in the 9th and 10th game, and let's say they lose that and they're gone. Streak over? They made the playoffs? Or does it roll over to another season? Well, did we ever get the final verdict on that? I'm just really keeps me up at night.
It's not the playoffs, because they have their own separate stats for the play-in tournament. Remember? So,
but do you see? I'm with you, but I got a weird feeling that they're going to say the streak is over. Like they'll have
totally. They're playing a postseason game.
Loophole.
Count it.
Yeah. It's you're right. It's an extra game. It's after the 82 have been played.
Those stats
83.
I'm telling you, it's going to happen. So
you just don't want that, thank you fans in the newspaper the next day. We made it.
We did it. Hang a banner.
Play-in
game 2022.
And then aren't they tied right now with the Clippers for the longest drought of not making the playoffs ever? So then, in theory, the Clippers organization is going to be pissed off and saying, "No, that doesn't count. That you have the record now. Now it's yours. We're clear of it." Oh man, it's going to be a mess. All right, final game. Speaking of the Clippers, they got the victory. 114-111 over the Boston Celtics. Tass, take us home. Wrap this last one up here for us.
I gotcha. The Celtics are 500. I wish that Adam Silver was working on a way to permanently make them 500, because they are a 500 basketball team. That's what they should be the rest of the season. I don't want to see them go up or down, because they just are always going to get back to 500. And a man who made them go back to 500 has Boston in his name, Brandon Boston. He is a Clippers rook, second-round pick this year. He dropped 27 off the bench. He's out of Kentucky, and I definitely didn't know a lot about him, but he has gone to the G League and come back to the Clippers. And maybe he could be their Terrence Mann of this year, to be their spark off the bench, because they're just kind of lacking around Paul George a little bit. Obviously, Kawhi is not out, or is not playing currently, and Paul George has fallen off since the beginning of the year. And then around him, Nikola Batum in and out of the lineup. Reggie Jackson hasn't been himself. Eric Bledsoe's gone from the starting lineup to the bench. So they need somebody, and Brandon Boston came in from Norcross, Georgia. He is a local boy, played high school ball here in Georgia, and then went to Sierra Canyon to play. Did he play with Bronny James? No, I guess the timelines don't fit, because he would have been gone 2 years ago. No Bronny there. But anyway, Brandon Boston, just a spark plug. And Ty Lue is just so good at just plugging guys in there. And 27 points to help the Clippers. But they need help. It's a bit of a hodgepodge season there with the Clippers. They need a little bit more production, but again, they have had a lot of guys in and out of the lineup, and you can never doubt Ty Lue. It's just a freaking good team. So Clippers trying to go up into the upper part of the Western Conference standings, but there's just a lot of teams outside those big three of Warriors, Suns, and Jazz. The Jazz are kind of in that group. Then it's just a big clump: Grizzlies, Clippers, Lakers, Mavs, and Nuggets, and then your play-in tournament teams that are not allowed to be called the playoffs. Get out of here, Wolves and Kings. Get out of here.
Just to bring it full circle, though, with this last game, and then back to the first game with the Heat victory, you do see, even if you're short guys, if you're a well-coached team, you sort of know what you're doing, and the guys have bought into sort of your system, be it with the Heat and Spoelstra, obviously a great coach, and then here with Ty Lue in LA. you can pull out victories on nights maybe where you shouldn't. And that's what happened with both of these. I didn't set it up that way, guys, but it was like, oh, so beautiful. Final thought, too, with Brandon Boston, playing well against Boston, 27 points off the bench. Has there ever been in the history of the NBA another guy named after a city, of course, that then played against that city and had more points? That's all I want to know. Get Elias on the phone. That's a tough one.
Honestly, the only one I can even think of right now is San Antonio Daniels. Did he ever have a good game against the Spurs?
Yeah. I don't know.
He played for the Spurs, didn't he?
Yeah, he definitely did.
San Antonio.
Well, I mean, even
did Utah Watanabe ever have a good game against the Jazz?
Nice one.
Like, yeah, if you go through all the city names of NBA teams, like we just don't even have players for these teams. Like Brooklyn, there's been nobody ever named that, right? Last name, at least.
Brooklyn Decker has not played in the NBA. Last name.
And then you got Chicago, Milwaukee, Miami, Washington, Philadelphia.
Washington is a chance. There's been a lot of Washingtons.
Great call.
Last name, yeah.
There must be a Phil out there. Is there a Phil who's beaten Philadelphia?
Philly Pressey. There was Antonius Cleveland was a Chicago Bull at one point, but a role player. Probably never had a great game against the Cavs. Houston could be a last name.
Yeah.
D'Angelo
Allen
Russell.
Houston. Here's a great one from Swish Rivera, who mentioned Allen Houston played against Houston
There we go.
in the NBA Finals.
Yes!
Great one.
Yes, that is what I'm talking about. So, yeah, there's like maybe 4 or 5 teams that it's possible, I guess, in terms of the name.
Orlando Magic Johnson.
What's Magic Johnson's greatest name ever against the Orlando Magic?
That's a great
There wasn't not a lot of overlap, really.
No, that's
Not
true.
a ton.
He was the All-Star Game MVP there in '92 in Orlando.
All right, let's we'll have a full breakdown of this answer on the Drop podcast tomorrow. Okay, we're gonna take one more break here.
Kings could be a good one. It's Bernard Kings.
But King. No.
Okay, it's not exact. It's not exact.
It's gotta be the city name. Okay.
Oh yeah, do.
Okay, when we come back, a fantastic tweet of the night from TK. He found a great one last night. It's even got some. Well, I was going to say SOT, but it's not SOT. It's a VO. So we'll show you that. Don't go anywhere. If you have ever wanted to make your home feel safer, there is no better time than now. Right now, this week, our friends at Simply Safe are giving No Dunks listeners early access to all their holiday deals. 40% off their award-winning home security. We love Simply Safe because it has everything you need to make your home safe. Indoor and outdoor cameras, comprehensive sensors, all monitored around the clock by trained professionals who send help the instant you need it. Now, over the Thanksgiving weekend break, my neighbor was going to be out of town. She's got a couple cats. She said, do you mind, popping in, feeding the cats, make sure they're not knocking things over? I said, yeah, no problem. Anything you got to walk me through, obviously where the food is and all that, but show me your security system. Well, my goodness. This thing must be from 1965, 1970. It's so dated, my neighbor's security system. I'm just looking at it the entire time going, you need Simply Safe. That's all you need. She's trying to press the buttons. It's this weird screen. She keeps putting them in wrong. She may as well had just cans tied to her front door as the security system, because I'm convinced this thing didn't even work. So Simply Safe. I'm thinking about maybe talking to them. Maybe I could get a nice little deal here, even a little bit better than the 40%. Be a nice Christmas gift to give to your neighbors. So that's in play here because there are no long-term contracts or commitments when it comes to Simply Safe. It's a really easy way to start feeling a bit more peace of mind. And again, if you have a neighbor, if you have a family member that's going to pop in while you're gone, have Simply Safe so it's easy because it's simple for everyone to figure out, unlike these antiquated old security systems that some people still have. So take advantage of Simply Safe's holiday deals and get 40% off your new home security system by visiting simplysafe.com/nodunks. All one word there, no dunks. Again, that's simplysafe.com/nodunks for 40% off your entire system.
We have more than 2 weeks still to do all your Christmas shopping. 2+ weeks, people, is a lot of notice. Now, if you're like me, at around this time of year, this is when I say to myself, relax, 2 weeks, you've got plenty of time. But don't actually do anything until about 9 p.m. on Christmas Eve when I'm like, oh, I should have done something. But thanks to American Giant, you can find a present that is versatile, comfortable, and cozy for someone you love, or even just that gift from you to you, and one that you can wear almost anywhere. And that is a classic full zip hoodie from American Giant. I've become a hoodie wearer a lot over the last couple of years, so I think I'm a bit of a veteran in the game, and I know what I like for my hoodie to stay in the rotation. It's got to be soft, and that softness has to stay even if it's been washed a few times. And American Giant uses heavyweight cotton that is made to last decades. Yes, decades, people. So in 30 years' time, when we're still doing this show, I'm going to be still wearing my same American Giant sweater because that's just how reliable it is. And it's even great right now, especially in these Atlanta mornings. It's very cool at first. Perfect hoodie weather for morning drop-off. You don't need that big, thick winter jacket and gloves and beanie and all that stuff. You just need something that keeps you nice and, keeps the coolness out. Now, it's warmer in the afternoon, but then it gets cooler again in the evening. So if you want to go outside for a walk or you're outside just playing with the boys, hoodie back on. Yep. And when you buy from American Giant, you can feel good in your clothes and feel great about supporting local manufacturers, workers, and communities. From material sourcing to manufacturing, everything is done locally right here in the US. Explore American Giant's collection of durable essentials at american-giant.com, and you get 20% off when you use code NODUNKS at checkout. That's 20% off at american-giant.com, promo code NODUNKS.
Okay, back with no dunks. Trey, hands on.
Sorry, the TV just broke. I gotta go fix it real quick. You just vamp here a little. I'm gonna go press a button for my child.
All right, just go to tweet of the night, JD.
Cool story, bro.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
While we vamp, quick correction. The person who said Allen Houston played against Houston in the finals, he corrected himself. Swish Rivera said he wasn't there against the Houston Rockets, but he was there against the Spurs in 1999. Well, that doesn't count. Sorry, Swish, but thanks for correcting yourself. You remember Allen Houston started with the Pistons for a few years, then he went to the Knicks. So he missed that finals. He missed that one.
I did see somebody point out that Allen Houston averaged like 17.7 points per game versus the Houston Rockets. So if he averaged that, did he have over a 25 or 27 game against them in his career? Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to check. Anyway, great stuff from everybody. Leigh, you want to do that list for us tomorrow?
Sure.
Question mark.
We'll see. Tune into tomorrow's drop to see if Leigh wanted to actually do it off of the air.
Yeah, I'll see what I can rattle up this afternoon.
Okay. So anyway, TV's fixed. Everything's good over there. Trey, tweet of the night. We already played the intro for it. So what do you have?
Let me just say something to Netflix. CEO of Netflix, if you're watching. If you're on a child's program, you shouldn't pop up the thing that asks them to read, do you want to keep watching? Because guess what? The kid wants to keep watching. No doubt about it. With regards to tweet of the night, Leigh, I'll be honest with you. I started by looking at cricket stuff. Searched the Ashes on Twitter, saw it come up. Apparently a lot of technology problems for the Ashes. The bowlers keep throwing no balls, but they're not being called. Is this a controversy?
Well, yeah. So this is a kind of
never mind. Can't do it. Cannot do it.
I was gonna say I thought you had to get going, Trey.
Yeah, I do. Whatever. Cricket refereeing. We're not doing it. Tweet of the night, though, comes from Brian C. Grubb, who tweeted yesterday. I've attempted to answer the question on everyone's mind as we head into the Succession Season 3 finale. Do you think Cousin Greg can dunk a basketball? I saw this and I did what any basketball sicko with access to the internet would do. Put Nicholas Braun basketball into Google Images. I just thought I was going to see him sitting courtside at some games because the guy shows up for a lot of basketball games, seems to be a fan. And I mean, he's 6'7", seems to be pretty fit. He's active in the basketball world. So yeah, maybe he can dunk. I was shocked to find out that there are Nicholas Braun basketball highlights readily available on the internet. Apparently he played for some charity celebrity team called the Hollywood Knights back in 2010. So I pulled the video of him grabbing a huge rebound. Look at him skying here. There he is in the back, Nick Braun. And then he chucks the ball out to center court to run out the clock. That's some basketball savvy right there. As you would imagine, this got back to Nicholas Braun, and he had to break a 2.5-week Twitter silence to say, damn, this is sick. Such a clutch rebound.
Oh.
Guy hadn't been on Twitter since November 24th, but he sees himself playing basketball, hops right back on, tosses off a couple of tweets. So I got to ask you guys a question.
Nicholas Braun or Larry Bird?
I'm going Braun. Looks like a better athlete to me. Do you think he can dunk, though? You think cousin Greg can dunk a basketball?
Cousin Greg, for those that don't know, is it a show called Succession? It's on HBO. I see some people confused, like, who the hell is this guy? He's tall. Yeah, I think he can. Tweet. Right? Is he 6'7"?
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, 6'7".
I mean, he jumps pretty well on that rebound. I was like, okay, he's moving out there. I can't believe how many clips I watched of this guy playing basketball, scrutinizing like his warm-up tapes. Saw him banking a long two. Leigh would not have loved that one, but I mean, if he's going out there and playing in public, he's got some confidence in his basketball skills.
That's tall, and he's not old. He's not an old man. So yeah, put me down as yes. It's not going to be the flashiest dunk, but I think he could.
He might make tomorrow's top 5 as the New York Nicholas Brauns.
I get it. I get it.
I get it. Yeah.
I actually prefer this from Jason Flyers, who calls him Nicholas LeBron. Nick LeBron versus Garry Bird. I would love to see it. Second question. Can we get cousin Greg, actually Nicholas Braun, on No Dunks? You think it's possible?
Yeah, I think so.
You think he's got takes?
Well, I don't know. Did he see the question about him dunking? Or no, did he just see the rebound?
Seems like he's just a highlight watcher.
Okay. All right, fine. Because I would say he would, if he had some confidence in his game, he would say, yeah, I can dunk. He's 6'7". So I don't know. I go back and forth. You see him on Succession, does a great job of playing the dopey, ooh, I don't know what I'm doing guy. And then you see him in these highlights. Yeah, he looks like he's agile, but he's not really defending his position. Yeah. So get on No Dunks, man.
All right.
Let us know.
First question we're asking.
Open invite. Yep, to Nicholas Braun, aka cousin Greg from Succession. I would love to see a basketball game now on Succession. Cousin Greg playing Tom. Be amazing.
That would be awesome. Loser goes to jail for 25 years.
Wow, stakes are high. All right, great tweet of the night. Great content there, and very funny that Braun himself tweeting back at you. Damn, this is sick. It's tough not to read it in cousin Greg's voice too. That's the beauty of it. Okay, pick 'em results from last night. Jazz Wolves. Utah was favored by 8.5. That's okay. They covered that quite handily in the end. It's brought to you by BetMGM, of course. So that was a win for Trey. He was the only one to take Utah in the big cover there. He goes to 5-1 in December. Tass falls to 3-3. He's 500, just like his Celtics. And me and Leigh are 1-5. My flip a coin system is 0-2. It turns out I'm better than the coin. I've actually at least got one right. But what's tonight's game, Tass? Where are we going?
3 games this evening. Utah against Philadelphia. I mentioned it earlier. Looking forward to Rudy versus Joel Embiid, both playing at the peak of their powers, no matter what Patrick Beverley is saying. And Philadelphia get a little bit of a cushion at home, a 3.5-point underdog there. So Philly just has to lose by 3 or less. And that's why we're Splitsville on this one. We are absolutely Splitsville on this one. Trey and Leigh are taking the Utah Jazz. Myself and Skeets on the Philadelphia 76ers. Why do you think they're going to cover there, Skeets?
I mean, the coin told me. The coin's got to be right at these points. Right? I mean, it has to. It's just like it has to accidentally become a victory for me thanks to this coin. No, I don't know. I mean, the Jazz are awesome, but back-to-back situation for both of these teams that will probably come into play. I'm excited for the Embiid versus Gobert, though. I just wanted to say we keep talking Gobert with the Jazz, and ho-hum Donovan Mitchell over his last 4 games is averaging 34 points per game with like 5 assists and a couple boards, and he's shooting 43% from deep on a ton of attempts, like over 10 attempts per game, 58% overall from the floor. He is, he's just incredible, and he has these weeks where he does this and he wins a player of the week, and that's great and all, but overall he's overlooked. He just is. And I've said I'm guilty of it as well, but watch him go for another 35 tonight or 40 like that. So that'll help you guys, I'm sure, but who knows? The coin says Philly.
So Philly guards. Philly guards a good matchup. That's why I'm looking forward to that. Please stick them on Donovan Mitchell. But yeah, will be a fun one. It should hopefully be a close one.
Yeah, hopefully. No idea if this is true. We're just taking Ben's word in the stream team here. Gobert is 2-5 against Embiid.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna
sounds
say.
Right.
Yeah, I looked it up today. I thought it was 2-4, 4-2, but who knows? Who knows with these stats? Anyways, I think Greg Popovich is coaching tonight. I said he was Roy Logan. He can jump in and coach that Succession basketball game. Roy Logan. He's not going to play. I see Greg and I see Roy.
Just be careful with your spoilers here, everybody. You already pissed off people tasked with your Survivor comments early on.
I didn't reveal anything.
Well, I know, but you say one person's name and it gets everybody all fired up that haven't watched it yet. But anyway, join us for No Buffs, our Survivor podcast, which has its own YouTube feed, its own podcast feed, 5:30 p.m. Eastern today, whatever you want to call it. Jason Concepcion will be joining Trey and I. No JD on this one. JD, what's going on here? We've reached the end of the Survivor season and you're not going to be able to make this one?
Yeah, I'm out. I'm just out.
Oh, it's a good time to get out.
Great time to get out. No, my wife's out of town, so I'm in single dad mode, and I got kids with drum lessons and rehearsals and an actual show. So yeah, I'm gonna miss tonight's, and I might actually miss the finale as well.
No,
I'm gonna watch it, obviously, but yeah, I don't know what to do. There's only so many hours in a day. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yep. Yeah. Come on, you can't miss the finale. We got to figure out a workaround for that tonight. Yeah. That's fine. That makes sense. Let's figure something out for next week. Okay. So anyway, that's No Buffs. Later today, email us your NBA questions. NoDunks@theathletic.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok @NoDunks Inc. Grab yourself an Athletic subscription. Go to theathletic.com/NoDunks. And Leigh, please don't get into the officiating of it all, but how's your team doing in the Ashes? Another good day for Australia?
Outstanding day for Australia.
Yes. Good. We'll talk about it more on the Drop podcast for sure. Join us live at 10 a.m. Eastern here on YouTube. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, as old friend of the program, Garth Brooks likes to sing, well, I've got... No. I'm sorry. Well, I've got kids with a drum lessons. Damn it. Really F that one. I'm sorry, Garth.
Embrace the day, people.
You could stay